Hello everybody, it's your boy, the Almighty Green Talent, as you can see. But before I do, as you can see, I'm representing the Philadelphia Eagles, my football team that I have been representing for many, many years to come. But before I can get to this video, you can comment, like, share, subscribe, notification bell on top of the video or the camera viewing, depending what you're viewing my video on your specific device, phone, tablet, or computer, yada yada yada, or your big widescreen TV. Also, after the video is complete, comment section below and give me the thumbs up, because thumbs up is what matters. And again, I thank you all for watching my videos, for commenting and sharing, and most important, give me the thumbs up, because without you guys, none of the videos that I make would be possible. Now, let's get right into it. Well, tonight was the NFL draft, first round, 1 through 32. We've been 32, but the New England Patriots had their was it New England, or might have been a team who had their pick disqualified for this year because of something that they done. I think it was New England. I could be wrong, but one team had their pick disqualified in the first round, so instead of 32, well, I mean 31 picks. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first round, as a lot of people was expecting, the kind of Panthers had the number one overall pick in this year's draft. They traded with the Chicago Bears to move up into the first round. They drafted Bryce Young, University of Alabama quarterback, who was undersized at 5'10" or 5'11", somewhere along up in there. He was drafted by the Panthers. The second round pick, the second overall pick, was Houston Texans, and they selected C.J. Stroud, quarterback from University of Ohio, I believe, Ohio State. Yeah, big quarterback, 6'3". He's 4 inches taller than Bryce Young. 214 pounds. You know, pretty good quarterback. He has a strong arm, and all the above. Very good quarterback. Houston Texans, called. Everybody thought the Texans were going to go after a defensive player. They were actually looking at a quarterback or a defensive player but a lot of NFL analysts predicted that the Houston Texans would draft a defensive player, like I said, preferably defensive end or linebacker. They were viewed to pick up Will Anderson with the second overall pick, but it never happened. They went with a quarterback instead. And that's what their situation stands at this moment. But Will Anderson also went. Oh yeah, I forgot. They did make a trade up. They trade up from, I think, from a lower pick to the top pick at number 3, and they chose Will Anderson. So they got C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson at 2 and 3. So they basically got their players. Both of their players, offense and defense. So the Texans are going, I would say they're going in the right direction, but the possibility they are with these two legitimate picks. But so you all know who the head coach is. Ryan, DeMeco Ryans. He's the coach of the Texans, who also played for the Texans many years ago, and he played for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was traded from the Texans to the Eagles, and he wound up being a defensive assistant in the NFL before being promoted to defensive coordinator. And now he one of the top coaches. Well, he was one of the top coaches in the league at the time before being signed by the Houston Texans. From what I found out, they signed him to a 6-year contract. So 6 years is more. It kind of like a lifetime contract, because most coaches get 4 or 5 year deals. But in this case, he signed a 6-year contract with the Houston Texans, so I think that's good. And he's going to use Will Anderson, because he more likely going to be he gonna be the head coach, and he's also gonna be the play caller on defense as well, so he knows what type of defense to run or what he's going to run. And with Will Anderson being in the fold, this guy probably gonna want to be a nightmare on the outside, on both outside spots of the defense, because Will Anderson that damn good. And I like Will Anderson better than I like C.J. Stroud. So C.J. Stroud has some he has some things you're gonna have to prove, being the second overall pick in the draft. They say he has a live arm. I seen him play a few times at the college level. His arm is okay, but it ain't the best arm overall. So that's why I said DeMeco Ryans is really gonna be judged by C.J. Stroud, because he chose him number 1, number 2, and then jump back up in the draft in the top 5 to actually get Will Anderson, the player they actually conveyed with the second round pick. With the second round pick, but instead they trade back in the trade back in the top 5, third overall to get Will Anderson. All right. And the 4th overall pick in the draft by the Colts. The Colts picked Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from the University of Florida. Now what's so crazy about this pick here, though, is that the Colts got our offensive coordinator Shane Steichen, and Shane Steichen ran a very good potent offense for the Philadelphia Eagles before going to the Indianapolis Colts, and he ain't gonna run that same style of offense there. And Anthony Richardson is a big quarterback. I'm not exactly sure if he's strong or not, because I haven't seen him lifting the weights, but I'm quite sure that they're gonna run a similar style offense at the Indianapolis Colts. Similar offense they ran with the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's a lot happening up there with the Colts. So we'll see how that work out in the next 2-3 years down the road with Anthony Richardson. The Seattle Seahawks picked number 5. They picked Devon Witherspoon, the cornerback from University of Illinois, Lovie Smith's top recruit up there. This guy is actually pretty good. Now this is the guy that Allen thought the Eagles were going to pick, but he wound up going higher than expected. So there was no good chance in the world the Eagles were going to move that high to get either Will Witherspoon, Devon Witherspoon, or any other draft choices. So he went properly at the proposition at number 5 by the Seattle Seahawks. 5'11", 181 pounds. He probably gonna want to put on some more weight in the draft in the NFL off season, because after he can play at either 190 or 200 pounds with his size, but then he has a small frame too. So if he can get 200 pounds of muscle on him, he's more likely to play at 190, 185, 190. And he's pretty good on the defensive back. He's physical. I seen footage on this guy. He likes to hit. He's not afraid to hit. He is a hidden cornerback, and he one of them guys that he gonna let you know he's there. You know what I'm saying? That type of cornerback he definitely is. So, also now we move on to the Arizona Cardinals, who picked at 6. They picked offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr., another Ohio State player, 6'6", 313 pounds. Now he's a pretty good offensive tackle as well. He was the first tackle picked in the draft, which doesn't surprise anyone because he was the best tackle in the draft to go top 5. Top 10 overall. So I think that's a pretty good pick where he landed. Cause the Cardinals need some help on the offensive line. So with Kyler Murphy getting hit the last couple of years in the backfield, Paris Johnson was drafted to actually protect the blind side. They got plays left tackle, not right, play left tackle. Okay. The Las Vegas Raiders picked number 7, and then they picked Tyree Wilson, Texas Tech, who played with the he played Texas A&M, but he left Texas A&M and went to Texas Tech, which is where he went. Now he's 6'6", 271 pounds. This guy is definitely one of the better edge rushers in the NFL, but at the college level before being drafted in the NFL by the Raiders. So the Raiders kind of like in a rebuild mode. So with them drafting a defensive end to be the cornerstone for the next 10, 12 years down the road, we see how that worked with the Oakland Raiders, because Tyree Wilson was the guy the Eagles were a lot of other player that teams were thinking another player that analysts were thinking the Eagles were going to pick at number 10, but it wasn't the case. Okay, number 8 overall pick, and this is the guy that a lot of people really wanted. Atlanta Falcons picked at 8, and they picked running back from University of Texas Longhorns, Bijan Robinson. Now, 5'11", 215 pounds. He went 8 to them. Now, I guess that the Falcons needed him more than we did. That's why he got drafted in the top 10 at 8. Because a lot of people thought that the Falcons were going to pick a defensive player, which is what they need help at most on defense, but they went offense in this draft. So I guess having a workhorse bell cow in that in the new rebuild offense that the head coach Arthur, I can't think of his last name. I don't know. His name is Arthur, and he's rebuilding that entire offense. And I guess starting with Bijan Robinson is the pick, but see, here's the crazy thing about it: the Falcons don't have a very good offensive line, so that's gonna be a problem. You know what? I'm gonna keep my ouch. I'm gonna keep my eyes on Bijan Robinson and Atlanta Falcons, cause the Falcons don't have a pretty good offensive line. They really don't, and that's gonna be an issue with him, because if you ain't got a good offensive line, that means that your running back is not gonna be able to get past the 5-yard mark. If he can't get 5 yards on a bad offensive line, what makes you think he really can actually get 2 yards behind a bad offensive line? So that's gonna be the problem right there. So that's why I'm gonna keep my eye on Bijan Robinson, and that's gonna let everyone decide that the Falcons picked the right player at number 8, or should they have went another player at that position. We'll see how that goes between now and next year, because, like I said, the Falcons got a horrible offensive line. They really do. Unless they're gonna pick offensive line round 2 all the way down the line, we see how that's going to work. But to me, this is a bad pick, and so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, because it's gonna be a decision if they pick the right guy or the wrong guy. Kind of hard to tell right now. All right, now. This is the guy that everybody thought the Falcons were going to draft. Number 9. The Eagles moved up from 10 to number 9. They traded with Chicago. Chicago they took our pick number 10 and then took a 4th round pick of next year for us to move to get him, which wasn't bad, because we thought we wanted to give up damn near the whole franchise to move up at number 9. But then, see, if they had moved any further up than 9, like 6 or 5, it probably would have cost more than a 1st round and the 4th round pick, wouldn't you say? But now they picked Jalen Carter, defensive tackle from the University of Georgia, who is 6'3", possible 6'4", depending on how they're going to work out. 214 pounds. This guy, this is the guy that the Eagles really wanted to draft, because we needed another defensive tackle, because we lost Javon Hargrove in the offseason. And then we got some Asian players, and Fletcher Cox, who's playing under 1-year, $10 million contract. I think 4 or 5 of that is guaranteed to him. And then we got Nolan Smith, who I'm going to speak about later in the 1st round. But I'll get to that shortly. Let me go down the line for the draft concern. But anyway, Jalen Carter was a good pick, and he got an A+ with that pick. So that means that's very good for them concerned. And now here's the pick that the Chicago that the Eagles drafted firm to get. Chicago Bears picked number 10. They were at 9, but the Eagles traded. Like I said, that pick and a 4th round pick to move up instead of moving down. The Chicago Bears picked an offensive tackle, Darnell Wright, from University of Tennessee. Now, this is the first. The Eagles haven't had. The Tennessee Vols haven't had an offensive tackle drafted in the 1st round in probably 10 years or more. Probably when Phil Fulmer was the coach, and so that's been a long time ago. But he's the first round pick since the Eagle defense and they drafted back 2017. What's his name? Derek Barnett. Now Derek Barnett was drafted in the 1st round by the Eagles, and that was 2017. You know what I'm saying? When the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. And so 2017 to 2023, 23. That's what 17, 18, 21, 2. That's been 6 years, almost 7 years ago that the Vols have had a first round draft pick, and that's a long time, wouldn't you say? But they're right, offensive tackle from Tennessee Vols to the Chicago Bears, and the Bears needed some protection to protect their quarterback Justin Fields, because Justin Fields was a bad ahead running last year, because teams were getting in his face and were coming up the middle on him. So with them drafting offensive tackle this early in the draft, they let you know that they are trying to get everything in place for Justin Fields, to put players around him to protect the blind side, so he wanted to run as much. So that's why the Bears went with Darnell Wright, which you can't blame him. You know what I'm saying? So good pick. And the Tennessee Titans at 11 pick Peter Skoronski, the offensive tackle, offensive guard from University of Northwestern. They need some help as well, because see, they got to figure out who their quarterback want to be. Matter of fact, they got a good quarterback. They got a quarterback from University of Liberty the boy they drafted last year, like in 3rd or 4th round, I believe. Young guy. He had the ability to run the pocket, and he can throw the ball football. So maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see how that works, because like I said, they picked an offensive tackle, offensive guard, Peter Skoronski, at number 11. Number 12, Detroit Lions picked a running back that they got a fail grade for. So they picked Jahmyr Gibbs, a player that was drafted a little bit too high. Now, a lot of people thought that Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be a 25, was drafted between 25 and 30 in this draft, but he went a little bit too high. Detroit Lions picked him at number 12. Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a good running back. He's 5'9". You know what I'm saying? A very good one. And that's the player that a lot of people thought that he was going to get either Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs. But Detroit picked him at 12, and they got a failing grade of F. So maybe it's a good pick, a bad pick. We will see down the road how that works out. And this is another guy that the Eagles was supposed to have drafted according to analysts. They had this guy in for a visit. His name is Lucas Van Ness. 6'5", 272, defensive end, outside linebacker. He's actually a rush end, but he can play in a 3-4 scheme. He probably gonna want to be asked to put on more weight, because he weighs 172 pounds. They might ask him to put on 5 or 6 more pounds. Probably give between 275 and 280 pounds. He probably still gonna be quick. And they got a B+ for that as a 13th pick. This is a guy the Eagles also had in for a visit, but he wound up going top 13, top 15 pick. All right. Pittsburgh picked at number 14. They picked Broderick Jones, another offensive tackle from University of Georgia, 6'5", 211 pounds. They got a B for that pick. Now Pittsburgh had just drafted a quarterback from University of Pittsburgh last year, and he played like 9 or 10 games into the regular season. So I said a long time ago that he needs to get some playing experience, and they finally put him in for the rest of the year. So now he got some experience, and then drafting an offensive tackle to protect the blind side or the left side, depending on where they're gonna place him at. And they got a B+ for that, which is a good pick. Good pick at all. Pick a very good pick. The Jets picked Will McDonald the 4th, outside rush edge from University of Iowa State, 6'4", 239 pounds. This guy kind of small, but he might be asked to put on some weight also in the off season before coming to the rookie mini camps, and more and further on into his process. But they got a B- for that, the New York Jets. And now Washington Commanders, one of the worst names in the NFL, they picked the cornerback. They went with Emmanuel Forbes. Mississippi State, 6'1", 165 pounds. They got a 6+ for him. Now, I really don't know much about Emmanuel Forbes. He played with Mississippi State. I didn't watch much of Mississippi State game this year, so I really can't tell you that. But they got a C+ for that, so C+ is better than a D or F. So Washington is trying to go a new direction. They got a new management. They got a new owner of the team. Daniel Snyder is out as owner, so they got a new owner now. So we see how that goes. And then the Patriots at 17 picked Christian Gonzalez, cornerback from University of Oregon. A+ with him, 6'1", 197 pounds. Now this is actually pretty good for them, cause they need to have real bad on defense, cause they will allow a lot of yards over the top as far as passing concerns. So maybe did they fix their problem here? We don't know. We'll see how that goes. Okay, and then the Detroit Lions picked number 18. They picked Jack Campbell, a linebacker, 6'5", 249 pounds. That guy is a freak, and they got an F for that. But Detroit is trying to rebuild their defense, so we'll see how Jack Campbell works as far as that goes. Now this another guy that the Eagles won. The Eagles were predicted to pick as well if he had survived 30. Kalijah Kancey, defensive tackle, 6'1", 281 pounds from the University of Pittsburgh. Tampa got a B for that. And this guy he's being compared to Aaron Donald. I've seen footage of this guy. He's gonna be a good one. So he might have to put on extra weight as well. But we'll see how that work out for him. Okay. Seattle Seahawks picked again at number 20. They picked Jackson Smith Najiba, wide receiver from Ohio State. They got an A+ for him. Now they did need another wide receiver because they got an Asian receiving corps, but they also got one guy that they drafted 4 years ago. When Jalen Hurts got drafted, that guy was drafted the same year Jalen Hurts was drafted. They both drafted 4 years ago. So they need a wide receiver. They got one, and they picked one from University of Ohio State. All right. Now, at number 21, Quentin Johnson, on wide receiver, 6'3", from TCU, 208 pounds. Pretty good receiver. He's tall and lanky. He's a very lanky receiver at 6'3". So that might be a good pick for the Chargers. Because the Chargers also got an Asian receiving core. So we'll see how that works with them as well. All right, now going deep into the draft now, first round. Zay Flowers, wide receiver. He was chosen by the Ravens at number 22 from Boston College. They got an A+ for that because they already signed. Because Baltimore Ravens has already signed Odell Beckham to a 1-year, $18 million contract, from what I can saw. And I think 13 of that guaranteed to him. So with them getting a wide receiver, they're trying to put players around Lamar Jackson, something that they should have done several 3 or 4 years ago, but they failed to do that. But now they realize it now. So getting a veteran wide receiver and then a rookie will do this club some good, and they got an A+ for that. Okay, the Minnesota Vikings drafted they drafted wide receiver as well. Jordan Addison, number 23, wide receiver from USC, 5'11", 173 pounds. Jordan Addison is a good receiver. Now I seen him play. He's a good receiver. He's quick. He's extraordinarily quick, and he built low to the ground. But he's a wide receiver, which is not bad. You know what I'm saying? So they got a B+ for that. Okay, New York Giants drafted at 24. They drafted a cornerback, Deonte Banks, University of Maryland, with the got an A+ for him. They got A+ for A+ grade. 6 feet, 197 pounds. So the Giants needed some defensive help because they lost a lot of guys in the offseason. So they are also in the rebuilding mode. So a lot of teams from the NFC East are trying not to make sure that we don't beat them this time again. But the Giants and the Washington Redskins are way off. Cowboys may be the only team that is caught up, but everybody else is way off. I really don't want to give the Cowboys that much credit, but you know, but ain't nothing really bad you much to say about them, other than they are also some miles away, but they're not way off. They're some miles away from us. Okay, now on to the draft. The Buffalo Bills at 25 picked a tight end. They picked Dalton Kincaid, 6'4", 24 pounds from Utah. They got a 6+ for him. Now, Dalton Kincaid is a good tight end. He's the best tight end in the draft, the first to go off the board in the first round. So we'll see how that goes as well with him as him being drafted by the Bills. Another weapon for Josh Allen in that offense. Okay, now the Cowboys picked a defensive tackle. I mean, I'm amazed. This guy is a built, thick defensive tackle. 6'3", 228 pounds. This guy is kind of pure muscle. They got a B for him. I mean, this guy is I mean, he is built. I mean, I've seen tape of this boy. He is legitimately built. I mean, he's like 10 or 15% muscle. He's stout and he's quick and strong. So that's a guy that he's going to deal with for years to come. And then Jacksonville Jaguars picked number 27. They picked Alton Harrison, offensive tackle from Oklahoma. This is a guy who played with Jalen Hurts. He came out as I think a junior this year. I think he was a freshman when Hurts was like when Hurts was like in the third year, I believe, at the University of Oklahoma. And I think he knows Hurts. I think him and Hurts played together, I believe. He got there in the sophomore year, and I think Hurts was in the third year, I believe. Cause remember that Hurts played 2 years at Alabama and played 2 years with Oklahoma. And I think that fact, and they got an A for that pick. The Bengals picked at 28. They picked Myles Murphy, edge rusher, 6'5", 268 pounds. They got a B+ for him. Now Myles Murphy's a pretty good defensive end. He's pretty good. That's another guy the Eagles was supposed to have picked, but it never went that way. But it is what it is. So we see how that go. All right, 2 more to go after the Saints. The Saints picked Brian Brees, defensive tackle, 6'5", 298 pounds. This guy is real tall and thick. I'm not exactly sure how well it's gonna work for him, but I've seen him. He ain't fast. He ain't slow either. He just had that initial punch to get to the backfield and make tackles for losses. He's a pretty good defensive tackle. They got a C for him. And the Philadelphia Eagles, here we go. They picked Nolan Smith. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, they picked Nolan Smith, 6'2", 238 pounds. They got another A. They got an A+ for Jalen Carter, and they got an A right here. They got an A+ for Jalen Carter, and they got an A right here for Nolan Smith. Now, this guy, he probably gonna want to start him right away, to be honest with you. And so, comparing him with Haason Reddick, that could be a terrifying defense, because now you want to be able to block. Because Haason Reddick is going to command a lot of attention in the off season and the beginning of the season. Now bringing Nolan Smith, who can play both sides of the field, and then imagine putting Haason Reddick and Nolan Smith on the same side of the field. That could be a terrifying look for offensive linemen and terrifying for offensive coordinators to find ways to block those guys. That could be a terrifying look. Okay, and we got an A for that. And last but not least, Kansas City picked edge rusher. They picked Phyllis Anuki Uzama. Anuki Uzama Phyllis. 6'3", 255 pounds. They got a B for him. And so that concludes this NFL draft first round. I just wanted to give my highlight on each player. But this guy here, like I said, I don't know much about him. But for them to pick him at 31, he got to be a damn good player. You know what I'm saying? So, without any further ado, let me go ahead and end the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Enjoyed this one as well. So, I am out of here. See you guys tomorrow for round 2 and round 3. I'm probably going to want to doing 2 separate videos on that because now I'm at 30 minutes here. So, you guys enjoy your Thursday night. See you guys tomorrow. And I am out of here. Peace.